Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to do this video. I know I say it every time, but this time the video is extra special because it is my very first ARC that I've ever received. I'm going to be reading it, taking you along while I read it, telling you all about it, but not giving you any spoilers because no one wants that, unless you do. And then it would be marked in that video. But it's not. It's an extra special video today because I'm going to be reading my very first ARC. Well, not my ARC, but an ARC that was sent to me. And it's even more special because the author is actually my boyfriend's cousin. So that's super cool. This is her second book. Here it is. It's called Losing You. Her name's Kristen Marzullo. This is actually the second book to the series. The first book is Remember Me, and I actually talked about this book and Remember Me in my last video, the November TBR, but I'm going to give you a summary of Remember Me because you probably shouldn't read this. Well, definitely shouldn't read this first. You should read Remember Me first because nothing will make sense to you if you just go right into Losing You. But basically, Remember Me follows Mia, who's living in New York, and she has a boyfriend in New York. She hasn't been home in a while. You don't really know why at first, but you just know that she stays away from home for a certain reason. But anyways, she's living in New York. Everything's fine. Everything seems fine. She has to go home to go to her brother's wedding, and instead of taking her boyfriend, she tells him she's gonna go by herself and it's just gonna be her. But little does her boyfriend know she has a +1, and when she goes home she runs into her ex-boyfriend Jake and she invites him to the wedding. And so you're following the relationship of Mia and Jake, but also her relationship, her real relationship with her boyfriend in New York, or lack thereof, and what happens with that relationship. You're also following a lot of like family trauma and grief and loss and things like that. You're learning what happened in her family, why she doesn't go home, why her relationships are so strained with her family, and kind of like the repercussions of this trauma that her entire family's experienced. So that's Remember Me, and then Losing You follows Mia 2 years after Remember Me ends, and so it kind of picks back up. Now we're following Mia and Jake. I don't really know a ton about what this one is actually about, but let me just read it to you and let's get on the same page. Okay. After finding their way back to one another, Jake and Mia's relationship takes an unexpected turn. As Mia now looks back on their last 2 years, she learns new lessons about herself and Jake that reshape her perspective on love. As the relationship advice columnist of Just Now magazine, Mia finds herself feeling like a fraud as she excels in her career while struggling in her personal life. She meets new friends like her tenacious work bestie Grace and goofy non-conforming next-door neighbor Sam, who teach her that falling out of love, though painful, can lead to new and fulfilling experiences. Mistakes are made along her journey to happiness, but can Mia find a way to forgive herself for ever accepting less than she deserved? Wait, is she gonna end it with Jake? Now I'm confused. I think that this book is less romance than Remember Me and more probably Mia figuring herself out, but I kind of thought that Mia and Jake would still be together throughout the whole book, but maybe they're not. Maybe they break up. I don't know. I feel like, do you agree? I feel like Jake and Mia their relationship takes an unexpected turn. I feel like that means they're gonna break up. It's Friday night right now, and people are so loud outside. I'm really sorry if you can hear that. I'm gonna start this now, and I'll keep you updated. Good morning. It's the next day. Sorry if you can hear this really loud terrible dishwasher that I have that literally barely works. Anyways, it's the next day. I was reading in bed last night and I fell asleep. But I just have to tell you, like, what's happened so far. But I'm going to tell you while I make coffee and breakfast. Okay, I turned off the dishwasher because it was just too loud. But we're gonna make breakfast while the coffee finishes. I think last time I was making breakfast, like, during a video, I was obsessed with the breakfast burritos, which still am, but we don't have, like, any of that stuff. So, we're gonna, oh my. I have these Trader Joe's roasted potatoes. We're gonna make them. And eggs and a bagel. Okay, also let's maybe talk about the book. I didn't want to say if Mia and Jake were together in this book or if they were like splitting up or what was happening, but you find out on the first page that Jake has like kind of randomly decided that he doesn't want to be with Mia anymore. And like that kind of has me confused because when Remember Me ended, they were happy and you're rooting for them, and then this book kind of picks up and you're like, wait, what happened in these 2 years? Like, Jake fully moved to New York with Mia, which I didn't even think he was gonna do that, but yeah, I just don't know. I feel like I want to know a lot more about like what happened in those 2 years that led Jake to just like fall out of love with Mia. So she's kind of like going through this breakup and she doesn't have any friends because the past 2 years she spent just like wanting to spend all this time with Jake and make up for lost time. And so when he breaks up with her, she's like, oh my god, I don't have anyone. And so she starts hanging out with this girl at work, Grace, and they kind of like quickly become like best friends. And so Grace is helping her move on, and it's like months after the breakup now. And so that's kind of where I'm at. So it's not like a ton of stuff has happened. It's just kind of a lot of like character development, I feel like. Yeah, I'm just like still confused. And I want to know how Jake just fell out of love with Mia because, like I said, when you leave off of Remember Me, it's like, oh, everything's perfect. I don't know. So I'll keep you updated. Okay, so I just have to tell you guys that I thought I hated Jake, and then I realized how much I actually do hate him, and it's way more than I ever thought I possibly could. What a piece of actual just dog poop. I mean, I can't like tell you, but just trust me that he's literally terrible. Hello? Guys, I'm literally the worst. Excuse me. Or excuse them. Sorry if you could hear that ambulance. Anyways, I'm the worst. I haven't recorded since yesterday. If I'm being honest, like, well, okay, actually yesterday I had to work, and then there's really no excuse. I just like didn't really read that much, which is really on me because this is a video about reading, and so I'm not really doing my part. So my apologies. I am 130 pages in, so we still got a long ways to go. It's getting like really, really good. When I left off talking about this, I know I said like I hate Jake, and I stand by that. And so Mia has moved into the new apartment, and Grace helped her move in, and Mia starts talking to her she's not talking whore. she starts talking to her next door neighbor, Sam, this guy. And so originally I was like, oh, okay, so it's going to be like Sam and Mia get together, that kind of thing. But it's really not, and I really appreciate that. And I know Kristen really wants to push kind of like the tropes and the boundaries of what romance normally does, and I really admire that, because so many times you go into a book thinking that it's going to be a certain trope. And so I appreciate that it's not this trope. I mean, maybe it will be by the end of the book, I don't know. But I really don't think, because at first I thought, okay, so her and Sam are going to get together. But I feel like they're just going to be like really good friends, and I really like that, because you don't see that in romance books a lot. You don't see a woman and a man being friends without it being weird or some sort of like romantic thing going on. But yeah, so Mia and Sam start getting closer, and he takes her out one night. Well, he doesn't take her out. They go out together, and she's still really upset about Jake, and she's getting hit on by all these guys, and she ends up going back to the apartment with Sam, and they're just hanging out talking. She tells him about her brother. And it's like a really just sweet moment between the two of them. Also, you are getting more moments, flashbacks, talking about Mia and Jake, and kind of explaining why they ended up breaking up, which, like I said, I was really confused about that in the beginning. I was like, how did they go from being perfect to breaking up in like 2 years? But now that I'm learning more of the background, I'm like, Jake, I literally, like, you're gaslighting. You're literally just terrible. And also, I want to say, I'm like, my mouth is running a mile a minute right now. So, wow, sorry. But I also want to say that what did I want to say? I wanted to say that, no, that's not what this is what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that I also kind of see what Kristen's doing with the last book ending with Mia and Jake being together, being super happy. And for most romance books, that's where it ends. And you're kind of left, the reader, to think that it's like happy ever after and, you know, nothing could ever go wrong. And so in this book, it's kind of showing that sometimes that's not true and that doesn't work out. And so I appreciate that she's kind of pushing the bounds on that again, and I really like that. I'm just learning more about the characters, and I really appreciate it, and I'm just falling for the story even more than I was in the beginning.
Hi everyone. it's really late, and we're going to the gym. Oh my gosh, I can't see you.
You can probably hear the ice cubes jingling
Probably.
in the water bottle.
Well, we're going to the gym, and this quality looks so bad. Okay, we're just gonna have to deal with this quality. The book is getting so good. Hold on, there's someone coming. I'm getting nervous. I think last time I was talking to you, I said that I thought Mia and Sam were gonna get together. And they're definitely not just a friend. I mean, they are just a friend thing. But, plot twist, Josh just informed me that I just told a spoiler, so I'm not going to include that. So if you didn't hear that spoiler, something big happened, okay? And it's good, and it's getting juicy, and I'm just loving it. I think I'm like, I don't know, like page 260 or something. So I'll keep you updated after the gym. Also, if I had a Kindle, because I asked for one for Christmas, then I could take my Kindle to the gym. Anyways.
So next day, I did do some reading, and I'm like almost finished the book. Oh, also, I feel like I should probably tell you why I'm like doing my makeup. I have work, sadly. Boo. I have work, and so I thought, why not do my makeup and talk about the book? So that's what we're gonna do. But the book is so good. Like I said, I'm almost finished it, and I'm like loving it. And I'm not just saying that. Right now in the book, I remember, okay, I told you
that something had just happened. And something did happen that I can't tell you about. And this something is continuing right now. But I obviously cannot tell you because that's a spoiler. But I just think that the more you learn about the characters, the more I just, like, really, really feel like I know who they are. Like, they don't feel static almost. Like, they don't, like, it feels like they're real. And I'm just really, really appreciating that. Kristen lives in New York, and the book is set in New York. And so I always, like, feel like when she's writing about certain things and, like places and how people dress at these, like, fancy restaurants and stuff, I'm like, oh, like, like, you've seen it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I trust you. Because you know how sometimes when authors will write and it's like their books take place somewhere else, like somewhere where, I don't know, maybe the author hasn't been, and then it's like, okay, you had to do research on that, but is it, like, how accurate is it? But I, like, fully trust Kristen, because I'm like, well, you live there, so. I really wish I could tell you, like, what was going on, like, really in the book, but I just can't. That's why you have to go order it yourself and get it when it comes out, December 17th. I'm gonna go read now, and then I'll update you probably when I finish the book, honestly. I finished it. This book is so good. Like, it gets better. I mean, it's already, like, so good, but, like, the more I kept reading, the more and more I was hooked, and, like, I just needed to know what happens to Mia and all of the other characters in her life. It's so good. And I think that another reason why I really like this book is because I know I keep saying this, that, like, it's not like a normal romance and stuff, but it's really not, because I feel like there's so much more going on in Mia's life than just romantic interest, and I appreciate that. Like, she has so many friendships, well, not so many, but she has, like, these, like, core friendships. She's trying to work her way up in her career, and, like, I just appreciate that so much, because I think a lot of times that can get lost in romance books, where it just feels like it's focusing only on the romance aspect, and it's kind of like, does this girl, like, have any life outside of, like, pining after this guy? You know what I mean? And I'm so excited. Kristen is gonna have a third book in this series, and I cannot wait for the third book. I can't wait to see who Mia ends up with, because I know who I want her to end up with right now. I have it in my mind, and obviously I can't tell you who I'm thinking of, but once you read it, you'll probably maybe think that too. I mean, Kristen will probably throw another curveball in there and be like, actually, Mia's gonna do this, and I'm gonna be like, I love that. But right now, I'm rooting for this one person. But yeah, so good. I just really like it, and I just feel like Kristen's growth as, like, a writer, it's just so good. I'm big fan. Chef's kiss.
Okay, well, I think that wraps up the video for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it this far, you are a trooper. I appreciate you and love you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next video.